Hi, my name is Carly. I'm 29 years old. I currently live in Scarborough, Maine.
And my name's Brynn, and I'm Carly's sister, older sister. I'm 34, and I just moved to Portland from Brooklyn after being there 11 years.
Growing up, I lived in a great house. I have the best family ever. I got everything that I ever needed and ever wanted. Um, but I still have this disease. The gateway to my substance use disorder was not fitting in. I felt like, all my friends were really smart and got great grades, and I didn't. Or, my sisters they also did really great in school, and they were and are skinny, and I wasn't. So there was always this hole that I couldn't fill. So I started drinking when I was probably 13. The first time I drank, I just remember feeling like, thank God I found something that can fill that void. And then I started smoking weed, and I did notice that, my friends would be like, no, I don't want to drink this weekend, or no, I don't want to smoke pot today, Carly. And I'd be like, why? And they could stop and I couldn't. It took me a really long time to know or accept that I'm a drug addict or I'm an alcoholic. I went to college. I stayed for a semester. I just couldn't do it. Right. And so I came home, lived with my parents, and that's really when things got messy. My family dynamic started to break, if you would say. A lot of fighting. And that's when I started to get into, harder drugs and, start dating people that, I probably shouldn't have dated. So I had this group of friends as well, as this boyfriend who, like I said, were doing harder drugs. And I figured, why not do these drugs with them? Finally, I have this group of people who accept me for who I am. So that's really, like I said, when things got pretty bad. Started getting into opiates, which led to doing heroin. When my parents wouldn't give me money, I would never do normally. I stole from my family. I stole from somebody that I was working for. I would never do that normally. My family and myself basically did not own a piece of jewelry anymore because I would sell everything in the house. My addiction led me to overdosing at my parents' house. My dad found me in my bathroom. I stayed in the ICU for 4 days, and I just remember my mom kneeling down and crying and saying, what are we gonna do at this point? Because before this, I didn't mention this, but before this, I had gone to 3 treatment centers. I had been in, I don't know, 5 sober living facilities. I had been to a place for like mental health that focuses on like helping you find a job and going back to school. And I had relapsed 4 or 5 times. I couldn't stay sober, so this really was a turning point for me. What am I going to do? The last treatment place I had been to said, we're not going to take you back because clearly we're not helping you. So I went to a place in Massachusetts. So I had to wait a week before I went. And yeah, I went to this facility in Massachusetts called Spring Hill, and it was the best thing I'd ever done. I really decided that I have to do this. And I stayed there for 45 days. They encouraged me to go to Portland, Maine. I came up here and I went to a sober house. It's called Grace House for Women. And I stayed there for about 9 months, and I dove into the steps. I work a program of AA. And I got a sponsor. She took me through the steps. I really found out a lot about me. I have a community of women up here that I got sober with almost 7 years ago. So my sobriety date is October 4th, 2014. And the women that I got sober with, they're still sober with me today. I do things that I love doing again. I'm on a softball team. I, sing when I can. Originally, I had gone to school for singing. That's what I do. The past 9 months have been really, really hard for me. I got diagnosed with epilepsy last October. I've had a lot of medical issues since then. I've gotten out of a pretty rough relationship that I had been in for almost 5 years. The one thing I didn't do was go back to drugs and alcohol, because I have these tools that I can use that it doesn't even cross my mind. I don't have to pick up a drug or drink alcohol to feel better. My life it's really beautiful. I no longer feel like I don't fit in or I have to fill some sort of void. I'm exactly where I need to be. So that is my story.
Brynn, so holy smoke, you're the older sister and you're watching your younger sister, who you love and adore, imploding. So what was this journey like for you?
I saw more quickly than everybody else that it was really not gonna end up well for everybody. And I think I tried to talk to my parents about it. It was just all red flags to me, and me trying to get the family to understand what was going on, and that it was just getting bigger and bigger. Our family is really close, and having to face that was just going to be really hard for everybody. And I just stopped sort of coming up to things that we would do together. My family being like, we don't not participate in things together. So what's going on with you? And I was just like, oh, I can't watch this continuously happen. And the way that I tried to get more help was, I had a therapist at the time. She wasn't an addiction specialist. We really didn't have the knowledge of what was going on either. I know my parents found a meeting up near there that they went to for a while. And then you were doing well, and then they stopped going to it. I have found exactly what I need in people that understand this disease. When people don't understand, none of my friends really got it. When it was bad with Carly, I think everybody, my tight group of friends was just like, oh, that's strange, or that's sad, we're sorry. And so I had to find that community for myself. I can pick up the phone and people in this community answer. It's awesome. And I want to do that for other people too,
I have a little pride of place going on here, because we do have an awfully strong recovery community in all forms, for the families, for those who are, whether it's alcohol or drugs or gambling or debtors or whatever. We've got a very strong community here.
And day-to-day recovery also looks like making sure I get exercise in. When Carly's recovery, she really wanted to get into an activity that wasn't like running around the block. And she started lifting, heavy lifting, powerlifting. And so when I got here last August, she was like, come with me to a session. So exercise is big for me, daily recovery. Getting up early so I can fit in some meditation before I'm working. And we spend a lot of time together too now that I'm up here. And that feels really important. A shift in our relationship was me coming up here, and
Definitely.
I think getting a better understanding of what Carly's world looks like, and how that community piece is so big.
And so Carly, when you think about your recovery, what would you say that you have regained?
Oh, my self-worth, confidence, I mean, I was like a shell of a person before active addiction even. I like, it's, for me, it's not like I gained what I had before addiction. I started over after, you know, when I got into recovery and my relationship with Brynn, it's really grown a lot.
And Brynn, how about you? What would you say that you have regained through this process?
Yeah, that confidence piece is a big one. And yeah, trusting myself. I think when you are in this with somebody who's struggling, there's a lot of moments where you just don't trust your own intuition. You're not trusting that person. I can trust myself in this, and I can sort of trust in God, the universe, whatever we want to call it. When you work through recovery for the entire family, I think that slowly regains trust and confidence in the relationships that happen within the family, the relationship to yourself.